So first, I just wanted to say how appreciative of the work that IWAC has done. It's one of my passions, I guess, is to look at the water resources and make sure that we have adequate, adequate water supply for future generations. And back in about, I think it was 2009, uh, the Idaho Water Resource Board came up with a project. They got some grant money and they developed what was called the RP camp, or the um, Rathdrum Prairie. Um, I'm gonna blank now. Conservation Aquifer Management Program, I
It's,
believe.
yeah, the Rafter and Perry comprehensive
Comprehensive.
program. Yep.
Thank you, Terry. And through that program, RP Camp has set up one particular goal, and that was really a 50-year management plan of the SVRP. So in doing so, they formed IWAC, and it was originally put together with a group from Idaho and Washington to come together to look at how we could manage the great resource that we have in the aquifer. So this group of not just water purveyors, but also included the Spokane tribe, the Coeur d'Alene tribe of Indians, Avista Utilities, Spokane County Water Resources, and a lot of folks outside of just water purveyors to come together and really have an open dialogue about how we can begin to work together to manage the SVRP. So it's it's really it's really a great group of open-minded individuals that are really working hard to spread the word about water resources, water quality, and how we can get out and educate and let people know what's going on with our aquifer. So uh, one of the things that I'm going to talk about primarily about IWAC is some of the video work that they've done. And for those folks that are interested in learning more about IWAC, you can go to this website, which is the IWAC website. It's www.iwac.us, and you can find a ton of information on this website, and including the irrigation and landscape guidebooks that I know some people had some questions about, Drippy the Water Drop, which Terry brought up in his presentation, the Aquifer Atlas, Find My Water Provider, and of course the Kootenai County Spokane Waste Directory, which was just recently updated. So there's a ton of information on this site. I encourage everybody to take a moment when they have it and check it out. So with that, what I'd like to do is go ahead and play. It's about a 10-minute video about what the aquifer is, I guess. And it's one of the first videos that IWAC produced. So kick back and take a listen.
Water. It's the lifeblood of all living things, plants, animals, and people. Stretching 370 square miles from Lake Pend Oreille in northern Idaho to Lake Spokane in eastern Washington, the Spokane Valley Rathdrum Prairie Aquifer, also known as the SVRP aquifer, is the sole source of drinking water for more than 500,000 residents. And as you can see, our aquifer knows no political boundaries. So just what is an aquifer? Formed from a series of Ice Age floods 10 to 12,000 years ago, our SVRP aquifer is made up of mixed sands, gravels, cobbles, and boulders, all of which provide a natural underground filtration system as the water flows through it. The Spokane Valley Rathdrum Prairie Aquifer is dynamic, with water constantly flowing into and out of the system. In some places, water seeps out of the bottom of the Spokane River and into the aquifer. The spot along the river near Sullivan Road is one place where water flows the other direction, out of the aquifer and into the river. Eventually, some of that water is discharged into the Spokane and Little Spokane River. Ultimately, all of the water flows into Lake Spokane. Water also enters the SVRP aquifer from precipitation, inflow from upland bedrock watersheds, seepage from several area lakes, along with water from irrigation and effluent from septic systems. Close to 1 billion gallons of water flow into and out of the SVRP aquifer every day. Everyone who lives in the Spokane Valley Rathdrum Prairie area uses the aquifer as their water supply to drink, flush our toilets, water our yards, and irrigate crops. So how does water from the SVRP aquifer get to us? Many northern Idaho and eastern Washington residents access their water from private wells that tap into the aquifer. However, the majority of residents, businesses, and industry rely on public water providers dedicated to providing safe, clean drinking water to the people who work and play in communities throughout the region. Large pumps push the water up and out into a pumping station. Careful measurements are taken to ensure the water is safe to drink before it enters the distribution system. The water is pumped into a tower where it is stored in large tanks that typically hold up to 1 million gallons. From there, it travels through underground pipes called water mains to our homes, offices, and industry. So after we use the water, where does it go? Water from your sink, shower, and toilet goes down the drains to a wastewater treatment plant, where it is filtered, purified, and discharged into the Spokane River. Some residents still use septic systems to treat wastewater. Water goes down the drains into the septic system and is filtered through the soil, returning water to the aquifer. The SVRP aquifer is clean, but our sandy, gravelly soils have a very limited filtration ability. Soil here provides little protection to the aquifer compared with other aquifers where clay or rock layers shield the aquifer from surface pollution. The Idaho-Washington Aquifer Collaborative, or IWAC, is a partnership in shared stewardship of the Spokane Valley Rathdrum Prairie Aquifer and Spokane River watershed. Together, representatives from both states work to maintain and enhance water quality and quantity for present and future generations. As keepers of the SVRP aquifer, one of their greatest concerns is the detrimental impact surface contaminants have on our shared and vital resource. Stormwater runoff is the greatest potential source of pollutants, as it carries a bit of everything it touches into storm drains, which flow into our rivers, lakes, and aquifer. The biggest offenders: fertilizers, herbicides, pesticides, leaves and grass clippings from lawn and yard care, dirty water, grease and motor oil from car maintenance, pet waste from dog walking, pool chemicals and paint stored improperly, or that spill and find their way onto driveways and streets, are all threats to our sole source of drinking water, our Spokane Valley Rathdrum Prairie aquifer. Many products we use every day contain hazardous materials that can be dangerous to people, water, and the environment. It's important to use products that are non-toxic and environmentally friendly. Read and follow directions carefully when using any hazardous product. Store products in their original containers and label them clearly. Store products above basement flood level and off the ground in garages and sheds. Never throw toxic substances or their containers in the trash. Never pour leftover products down sink drains or into the toilet. Do not flush medicines down the toilet. Never mix leftover products. Do not dispose of household hazardous waste in streams, rivers, or lakes, and only allow rain to go down the storm drain. Regional facilities in Spokane and Kootenai County accept trash, recyclables, organics and yard waste, household hazardous waste, construction and demolition waste, and appliances. Taking the time to dispose of these kinds of potential contaminants will protect and preserve the SVRP aquifer for all of us. Municipalities such as Coeur d'Alene, Post Falls, Spokane Valley, and Spokane have also stepped up prevention efforts to protect our precious aquifer. In 1985, a major effort on both sides of the Idaho-Washington state line was initiated to reduce septic system contamination of the SVRP aquifer through the installation of piped sewer collection systems. Since then, over 30,000 septic systems have been removed in Spokane County. A growing number of systems utilize a tertiary treatment, a state-of-the-art microscopic filtration technology that removes smaller particles and most viruses and bacteria. Some systems use a final disinfection stage before discharge into the environment. In the future, all facilities discharging to the Spokane River must operate tertiary treatment technology to meet current environmental standards. Local jurisdictions are also utilizing low-lying swales in business and residential landscapes to catch rainwater, so it percolates into the ground and slowly releases into the SVRP aquifer. Rain gardens reduce runoff by allowing stormwater to soak into the ground rather than flowing into storm drains and surface waters, which causes erosion, water pollution, flooding, and diminished groundwater. Nutrients found in fertilizers can cause environmental damage when they enter a waterway, reducing oxygen levels and impacting vegetation and aquatic life. The phosphorus reduction ban, led by Liberty Lake, has greatly reduced the levels of phosphates from reaching Spokane wastewater treatment plants. This has led to a 17% reduction in phosphorus loading into wastewater treatment plants. The Kootenai County Aquifer Protection District and the Spokane County Aquifer Protection Area are protecting our shared aquifer. These voter-approved laws protect groundwater quality, monitor and inspect potential sources of pollution, implement educational programs, and coordinate the work of public agencies to prevent degradation of our precious drinking water and the staggering cost of remedial action. There are many easy ways that residents of northern Idaho and eastern Washington can work together to protect and preserve the quality and quantity of water in our shared resource, the Spokane Valley Rathdrum Prairie Aquifer. Here are just a few. Remove debris from storm drains so only rainwater finds its way to the aquifer. Use a broom, not a hose, to clean driveways and sidewalks. Take shorter showers and choose showers over baths. Repair leaking pipes, dripping faucets, and running toilets. Convert older toilets to low flow with a displacement device. Only wash full loads of laundry and dishes. Replace old appliances and fixtures with energy-efficient models. And keep a pitcher of water in the fridge rather than letting the water run in the sink until it's cold. Dispose of hazardous waste properly. Repair auto leaks that end up on driveways, washing into storm drains, polluting the aquifer, and wash your car on grass or at the car wash to prevent dirty water from entering storm drains. Do not over-fertilize your lawn, washing harmful chemicals into storm drains. Make sure sprinklers are watering your lawn and not the street. Never water in the heat of the day due to rapid evaporation. Mow grass at a higher setting, which requires less water, and replace turf with drought-tolerant or native plants. Residents, businesses, and industries of northern Idaho and eastern Washington working together today ensures a legacy of abundant, clean water in our Spokane Valley Rathdrum Prairie Aquifer for our children, grandchildren, and generations to come.
I love that video. I think it brings out a lot of great points about our aquifer, and makes you think a little bit too. And we're so fortunate to have such a resource with us. So what I'd like to do now is introduce Tony Lee Hansen. She is Well, she's pretty much everything. She does a lot of work for IWAC and is works with the Spokane Aquifer Joint Board. Um, Tony Lee is really the heart and soul of both groups, and I'm fortunate to have her with us here today to talk a little bit about SAJB. So take it away, Tony.
Thanks, Dan. And thanks for showing that video again. I haven't looked at it in a while, and it really does touch my heart to think of all the work that's gone into that. And really that is the message that Ty Wick was all about when he started the Spokane Aquifer Joint Board. And forgive me if I get a little choked up because, you know, he's such an amazing leader, and it's kind of hard to be with that. That big presence is gone. So I'm going to share my screen before I cry and show you the Spokane Aquifer Joint Board's website. Because some of you may not realize, you know, you work for water providers, but you may not realize that I work for you all, whether it's in Idaho or Washington, because as Dan said, I have the opportunity to work with both organizations. And so Ty and a number of other great leaders came together in 1995 and really created the Spokane Aquifer Joint Board, bringing together 21 different private and public water providers to say, you know, what are we going to do to protect this aquifer? And and that's partly why we want to, you know, come up with an award for him that we're going to, what we're thinking about, and I'm going to just tell you the members on the committee so that if you have ideas or suggestions about a Ty Wick award, that you can contact Brian St. Clair, Vijay Adams, Jeremy Jenkins, myself, Shane Shepard, Kelly Willicott, or Terry Pickle. And if anybody else wants to be part of that committee. But right now we're thinking about the Ty Wick Water Stewardship Award that could go to a water provider who exhibits leadership to protect the aquifer, like Ty's leadership in bringing us all together to create the Spokane Aquifer Joint Board. It could be a business that's developed an innovative process, nonprofit organization, educators and their students. It could be a state agency or a legislator or a nonprofit. Anyone who is assisting in protecting this amazing resource that you just saw in the video. So on this website, you can find all of your, all the members. So some of you have your own websites, but if you don't, we provide this for you. And you may not know how involved you are because only some people from your organization come to the meetings. But if you're here today, you're either an IWAC, you know, connected to IWAC probably, or connected to the Spokane Aquifer Joint Board. And I'm just going to spend a little time clicking around here so you get familiar with what's here. One of our most popular spots is Find My Water Provider. And it's, you simply put in the address, any address. And click on Find My Provider. Once you see the little red dot and you click on that, it'll tell you who your water provider is. This particular part of our website is used by new home buyers, mortgage companies, realtors, and all of those folks who go out and do backflow testing. And I get calls from them if our site is down because they use this every single day to find out who you are, where you are, who you provide services to. So if you're not familiar with this site, it's this particular page on our website. It is our most used tool so that people know, given how many different providers there are. And let me just go back out a little bit if I can. This I have to get that. Let me see. Can't quite navigate. But it goes into Idaho as well. It's not, there we go. We'll come over this way. So we've got all the Idaho, Kootenai County and Spokane County water providers in there. And we are currently working on an upgrade to that, so that because we know that the Rathdrum Prairie has been changing dramatically in, you know, housing, and so we're reworking that section. I'm going to show you just a couple other features there. If we go back to the home page, we have initiatives that were started when we began, and that is education and awareness, and Aqueduct is our superhero protecting the aquifer. And so we have numerous resources for teachers, homeschoolers. Our waste and recycle directory is, as Dan said, has just been upgraded, and I'll show you that in a moment if we have time. I don't want to go over our time. We have a business assistance program to certify businesses who are properly handling their waste. And then, you know, household contaminants is a really big one that we spend time working on. If we go on down on that page, two things I want to point out to you. Here's a spot where anyone can register for Alert Spokane. So if you are, you know, wanting your customers to be able to be notified if there's a boil order or something that has happened in our region, we have that right there on the website. And then also all of your consumer confidence reports are here at the bottom of the page for any of the customers around the region who are wanting to know about their water quality. And we continue to upgrade this website as new things come up, and it's a robust website, as is IWAC. In fact, many of the things that are on here are also on the IWAC website. I do want to show you that if you want to see that video again, you want to show it to somebody else, if you click on that picture, and here's the video that was just shown. And in a little bit, we're going to show you some new ones that we've done on backflow protection, whether it be around fire hydrants or home backflow. We also have ones here, some of our short commercials, and you may want to educate your customers and send them out some of these videos to let them know about the aquifer. You might be, your board members might be benefit from having the opportunity to see that SHAB and IWAC working together have been trying to produce these materials to educate our public. And again, back to Ty, you know, he was instrumental in the beginnings of IWAC and was the first vice president of IWAC. So one last thing I want to show you, and there's so much more here that I could, but I just have a little bit of time. So under education and awareness, we have community resources, and there's a section that's just on backflow protection. And in that section, we have materials that Spokane created around just basically what it is. We have a couple of the videos that you're going to be seeing in a minute, including Liberty Lakes, links to the SRC4. And then the last thing I really want to show you is backflow assembly testers. So what we've tried to do is provide for our community, whether they be in the city of Coeur d'Alene, Post Falls. Let's see if I can get this to show everything. Rathdrum, city of Spokane. If you go to any one of these, you'll find, like here, I'll just take Liberty Lake. And it goes to their website. And so that as they update who their certified backflow assembly testers are, you can see that the list is updated. You've got the contact information. So if you're wondering who to call for your particular region, particular district, We've got it here on our website, and if you find that it isn't accurate, please let us know, because we want this to be your website. And if there are sections that you'd like to see added just for water providers, we can do that too. So with that, Dan, I think I probably took all the time that was allotted for me. And I just appreciate the opportunity to share what the Spokane Aquifer Joint Board is doing for our community and for our water providers.
Perfect. Thank you, Tony Lee. Again, if there's any questions for any of the presenters, please type that into the chat, and we'll get those answered. I saw a couple come in that looked like that they were getting answered in real time, so that's awesome. So next, I'd like to bring back Jay Adams, and he's going to spend just a few minutes to talk about the Kootenai County Aquifer Protection District. He's not there.
Okay.
Oh, there he is. Thanks.
Yeah, thanks, Dan. So yeah, for those of you that don't know who the Kootenai County Aquifer Protection District is that they're a district that was approved by the voters and established by Kootenai County Board of Commissioners in 2007. And the establishment was primarily around protection of groundwater quality in the Raft and Prairie portion of the SVRP aquifer. What the APD does is that they fund programs and projects that protect the quality of the aquifer. It's really important because protection of aquifer funding protection lost the federal funding in 1996. So thereby each state, either whether it's Washington or Idaho, needs to fund protection programs in accordance with the state laws and regulations. So it kind of fell on the individuals to deal with that. So APD, there can be 11 members, 9 of which must meet certain criteria. And those criteria include like a well-recognized business, citizen representative, agricultural representative, municipal water representative, water district representative, irrigation district, private water system, well-recognized environmental organization, engineer hydrologist, and at-large representative. So kind of try to paint a broad brush over all of the stakeholders in the county. So the way to fund the program is Kootenai County collects a parcel fee from every parcel of land in Kootenai County that is within the aquifer boundary. And that funds the APD's work program elements. So by statute, that fee can range from anywhere to $5.50 to $12.50 per parcel per year, and it's collected through property taxes. But since APD was funded in 2007, the parcel fee has really never been more than $8. So it's really not much, cup of coffee a year that somebody has to contribute so the APD can fund these excellent protection programs. So it's kind of a background of what APD does. There's a few members of the board on the call today. So
Excellent. Thanks, Jay, because yeah, I think, with the help from APD, that was really what helped out IWAC quite a bit in putting together that 10-minute video. So, it's that constant collaboration between a lot of groups, between SAJB, IWAC, APD, that really, gets the messaging out there in both water resources and water quality. So one of the focuses of late has been from IWAC and SAJB has been protection, hydrant and residential backflow protection. So I would like to introduce the IWAC video, and then I'll have Jay talk about the remaining videos that were put out by Liberty Lake and City of Spokane and SAJB. So if there's probably a familiar face in this one, so bear with me. Your water purveyor tests the water repeatedly to make sure that you have the pure, safe, clean drinking water at your tap. You can compromise that through a backflow incident. Backflow is water moving back to your house to the water main instead of from the water main to your house.
During blowout season, we want to make sure that every house has backflow prevention in place. AVBs on their hose bibs or your double checks on the irrigation system.
You can usually find those in an irrigation box outside your home or perhaps on a hose bib. It's there to protect you and your family. Backflow devices allow water to flow in one direction and keeps the bad things out of your drinking water. You could be filling your hot tub, fountain, or perhaps your kiddie pool. Maybe the dogs get in that as much as the kids do. That's not the type of water you want to drink. If you hook a high volume compressor to your irrigation system, you can push that water that's in your irrigation lines back into your house really easily.
Call your water purveyor or IWAC or your irrigation specialist. They can come out and help you locate your backflow devices and make sure they're tested and working properly.
We want to keep ourselves safe, our community safe, our neighborhood safe.
Back to you, Jay.
All right, great. So the next video that we'll tee up is when we being Liberty Lake Sewer and Water District started our backflow program in this last year, when we got a little more, definitely more of an intensive program laid out, we decided to do kind of a backflow education video posted on our website to help our customers understand the importance of backflow. So here it is.
Backflow is the reversal of the normal flow of water caused by a sudden change in water pressure. Changes in water pressure can occur through high-demand events on the public water system, such as a fire or water main break. Backflow devices are designed to protect the customer's water service and the public water supply from this change in normal water flow. A backflow device is a mechanical valve designed to prevent the reverse flow of water from a point of hazard back into the customer's water service or public water supply. Because backflow devices are mechanical devices, they must be tested annually by a Washington State certified backflow assembly tester to verify they are working properly. One example of a potential backflow hazard is your home's irrigation system. Irrigation systems are exposed to a variety of contaminants such as pesticides, herbicides, fertilizers, and pet waste. These contaminants can enter the sprinkler system and water supply through events such as ball sprinkler blowout, broken sprinkler heads, or a high-demand event on the public water system. A properly functioning backflow device prevents these potentially hazardous substances from entering the water supply. This is why the Liberty Lake Sewer and Water District requires customers who have an irrigation system to install a backflow device and have it tested annually by a certified Washington backflow tester to make sure it's working properly. These devices are typically found inside a green irrigation box where your irrigation system is connected to the water service to your house. Water purveyors are regulated by the state and federal governments to provide clean and safe drinking water through the Safe Drinking Water Act. Not following these regulations may result in contaminated or polluted water containing harmful bacteria such as E. coli. Cross-connection control programs are required to protect the customer's water service and the public water supply from backflow events. For more information, please visit our Cross-Connection Control Program webpage or contact our Cross-Connection Control Specialist.
All right, great. So the next series of videos, we're kind of switching from the residential backflow education into more the municipal backflow education. And the first video there up is the City of Spokane's backflow protection fire hydrant video. So we'll play that now.
I'm Stephen Goldrick. I work for the City of Spokane Water Department as the tapping and inspector foreman. Our role on a construction site as the tapping crew is we install all the new water mains and water services and meters and backflow assemblies in a vault or inside the building. I've been at the water department 18 years and my team really works hard to make sure that you as our customers get good clean drinking water. Backflow is any water or chemical or any contaminant that comes back into our water system. Now that can be because of back siphoning or back pressure. We want to get rid of all that. And that's why we have this cage here. This cage will prevent that backflow happening into our system. People use the hydrants for many reasons. The site next to us needs to have dust control. We don't want a bunch of dust going over in Spokane. So they'll fill up water trucks. So this right here is exactly what you should see as one of our customers. You got the hydrant and drop hose and the cage and the disc. If you don't see that, they're violating some process. And that's where we really need your help in identifying the people that are violating this process. Go ahead and take a picture of the license plate, take a picture of the truck, company name. That way you're working with us to ensure that everybody in Spokane has good, clean, safe drinking water. That's our #1 goal.
All right, great. So the next one following that is, and Dan spoke to this a little bit, was the education video the SAJB put out with also on fire hydrants. So we'll tee that one up.
Remember the news about contaminated drinking water in Northeast Spokane and Liberty Lake? Both cases were caused by backflow from improper or unauthorized use of fire hydrants, impacting hundreds of families. That is why hydrants now are being locked. You must get a permit from your water provider to use a hydrant, and backflow protection is required. You can use one of the fill stations in our region. If you think a hydrant is being used without a permit, report it to your water provider. Thank you for doing your part to keep our drinking water safe.
Okay, great. And then the last one is kind of an education video that Liberty Lake that we put together in response to our E. coli. So let me see if I can. Share my screen here. All right, so you open an app and then go to the various controllers listed on the app for this auto flusher. And then once the controller is activated, you can see the one that's that you want to activate, which in this case would be Rocky Hill. Connect to that controller. And then from the controller, you can go to manual stations, and in this case, manual programming, and we can start the station to run for, in this case, a couple minutes. And then press play on the app. It'll activate the auto flusher. And so what we did in response to our E. coli event is there were a number of dead end lines that we were concerned about. And so we installed three of these auto flushers on these dead end lines, and they happen to be the Mueller HydroGuard. They're a custom model for us that we worked with them on. And we installed these on the ends of these dead end lines to help with our flushing program. We were doing our flushing program, but in response to what we had on the E. coli, we wanted to do something just a little bit more. So once this runs for a little bit, reach that 2-minute mark. Sped it up so you don't have to wait for 2 minutes here. It'll automatically shut right down. And then you can go to programming, and you can have 3 different programs, A through C. You can select a program. And in that program, you can identify what kind of start time you want to have. At least it was 12 a.m. on that one. And then how long you want it to run for. In this case, it'd be running for an hour. And so you can have different set programs through A through C and different start times or intervals that you want to have. And then you can set the water budget at what percentage you want it to run for. Watering days, custom, odd, even, alternating days. And then obviously I'd mentioned how long you wanted to run for. So they're pretty slick setups, and you can access it via Bluetooth. So stop share my screen there. And I think that kind of wraps up where we are with the education. I'm going to pause here for the questions to come in. That wraps up the education for our residential and municipal backflow education programs from IWAC and agencies. So I think we're going to send it back to you, Dan, for any questions or some wrap up.
Thanks, Mike J. I guess one question that came to mind as you're looking or using your auto flusher, do you have that meter to record your DSL, or is that a prescribed flow rate that you then calculate to add in for that?
Yep, it's definitely, they're all metered.
Dan, if I can interject on that. So we put a 2-inch meter on it. It's a 2-inch feed to the aqua or the HydroGuard itself. And they do have a built-in sampling station inside the HydroGuard, but you got to do a little disassembly to get to it. So we metered, then also have you saw the blue sampling station in the video there. So we have an actual sampling station that we take our monthlies at, as well as the HydroGuard. And we have it set up basically for the length of pipe that we know is roughly the dead ends. It happens to be a long service line for 8-inch ductile iron, over 1,500 feet with just 2 houses on it. So we flush it for an hour once a week just to make sure the whole pipe gets completely turned over. And the calculation was based on turning over that dead end area. So that's kind of how we got it set up. And then to top it off, we have an AMR meter on it. So I get a report on how much water I've flowed through every month. So looks good, works good.
Excellent. Thanks, Mike, for expounding on that a little bit. That's awesome. I think, it kind of harkens me back to Bill's presentation a little bit when I asked the question about how do we, communicate with customers around backflow, especially during sanitary surveys. And you look at some of these videos that have been recently shown, it kind of gives you some of that, I guess, ammunition to go ahead and share with those folks to say, look, this is really important. This is what we're trying to protect. It's not just the city of Spokane saying this, or the city of Post Falls saying this, or the city of Liberty Lake. This is really, coming from a concerned group of advocates on the water quality and our resource, which is the Spokane Valley Rathrum Prairie Aquifer. So great tools, all of these videos to use to help, spread the word and educate your customers as well. So yeah,